placed on the agenda of those meetings its objection to any legislative action that will circumvent the supremacy given to the EOJ for the ECJ, for dealing with any constituency or any political boundaries generally. The government then accepted the position of the opposition and gave the undertaking that it will not proceed to act in any way that will circumvent the ECJ in the matter. The matter was deliberated at the ECJ, represented by both the government and the opposition side, and a position was advanced to both the government and the opposition out of those deliberations. In keeping with that solemn, I consider solemn undertaking of the government not to proceed with any alteration of any political boundaries through any committees of the Parliament, it is difficult and impossible for the opposition to participate in such deliberations. The leader of opposition business has communicated same to the leader of government business, to which no response has been provided. Further to that written correspondence between the opposition, leader of opposition business and government business, I had direct verbal discussion on the matter with the chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party on Tuesday of this week. Further to those discussions and the circular of this meeting, I had further discussions with the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party, Dr. Horace Chang, who concurred with my comments and position regarding what this committee is seeking to do, coming out of those Bill Royal discussions for which he was a party to, like myself. So, Mr. Chairman, against that background, I am formally advising the committee that the opposition will not participate in these deliberations, and we will therefore have to deal with the matter otherwise.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Just thank you for your comments, Member Jackson, Member Warmington.
Mr. Chairman, this bill was laid in the House, I think, with July 2016. The municipal order or act in 2003 made provision for the separation of St. Catherine and Portmore after a probationary period of 5 years. No government or minister has moved forward since then to enact, as it was stated then, to separate St. Catherine and Portmore. I remember during the debate to establish that municipality, Habib Abdoob spoke fervently against not separating them from that time. The Parliament saw it fit to vote him down on that, but he said it is unwise and will come back to bite us eventually. Member Jacks mentioned that stepping on the responsibility or duties of the Electoral Commission. I don't want to call it rubbish, because this, let me say, the separation of St. Catherine and Portmore has nothing to do with the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission deals with boundaries for parish council divisions and boundaries for Parliament. The separation of St. Catherine from Portmore was written, the provision for that was written in the 2003 Municipal Act. So I don't know where this argument comes from. And secondly, Bill Royal cannot supersede the decision or duty of Parliament. This is a parliamentary stuff, and it gives the minister the authority. It's clearly spelled out in it, and this is the reason why I make sure I have all the documents from 2013. Also, the amendment that 2003, also the amendment that was brought through member Jackson, whereby it says if you have more than 50% in one division, in one municipality, then your representation is because there was no decision or no clear-cut position as to those persons in Lakespen that had part of their division in St. Catherine and the part in Portmore, they were left in limbo. And he brought it here. He spoke fervently on it. That over 50%, if you have it in 1 year, then your representation is there. So it's written that this be done. The separation of St. Catherine and Portmore has nothing to do with the Electoral Commission. This is out of their purview. That is a total responsibility of the Parliament. You know, whether this is not political boundaries or whatever you. This is the establishment of the Municipality Act. In 2003, the Electoral Commission had nothing to do with it, no input whatsoever. In 2015, the Electoral Commission had nothing to do with it. I was a part of it then, and they had no input whatsoever. So I don't know, all of a sudden, I'm going to hear that you're trampling or infringing on the duty to respond to the Electoral Commission. Rubbish. There's no such thing. When I talked about electoral, let me speak, sir. Allow me to finish. I did not interrupt Member Jackson. I did not interrupt Member Jackson. But are you trying to interrupt me? Okay, I want quiet.
Please.
So I'm saying,
please, members,
sorry, Mr. Chairman.
I am not going
Mr. Chairman.
allow the committee to disintegrate. You are here to discuss.
So I am saying,
okay?
sorry, Mr. Chairman, but I'm saying that the Electoral Commission have no jurisdiction in this because we're not establishing political boundaries. We are carrying out a responsibility as is set out in the 2003 Municipal Act.
Thank you. Member Skeffrey.
Member Warmington speak loosely that the ECJ has nothing to do with this. And that's far from the truth. Once you establish municipality boundaries, it most definitely will have implications on the direct role of the ECJ with respect to electoral boundaries and polling division boundaries. And to say also in 2015 that ECJ had no role, he should check the records. The EOJ led numerous consultations, and those members of parliament who are here from that participated, there was actually a sign-off on the map in 2015 how to be defined as the municipality of Portmore. It was struck out in the courts due to a procedural issue. So to say that the ECJ has nothing to do with it. Also, Chairman, the local government ministry sent this proposed map to the ECJ for its opinion and recommendations. And the very bill we have here lay the ECJ as one such stakeholder that you consult and accept the recommendation. It's in the bill. And the memorandum and objects also in A speak to make it clearer the procedure. So if you are amending this bill to make it clearer, then it's clear that we don't even sure exactly who has that total authority. So part of our deliberations here today is to make that clearer for the alteration of boundaries of existing municipality. So it can't be a clear-cut issue if one of the objectives of this committee is to make it clearer. Also, Chairman, you'll remember that the ECJ invited you to a meeting, and we had the date and time, and within a 24-hour notice, the meeting was cancelled due to some issues that you had, and we accepted it. We did our deliberations as was asked, and from the month of May, the ECJ sent this report, this recommendation to the Ministry of Local Government. I should assume that you have gotten the opinion of the ECJ, and therefore we're saying if you have such an what is proposed in here will have serious implications for polling division boundaries and electoral division boundary. So it is not true to say we are just going to change a municipal boundary and all will be well. it will have implication for the efficiency, effectiveness of conducting the local government election and the municipal election of Portmore from here. And it will also deal with chaos and confusion. So it's not a clear-cut issue as we're trying to say. So and if you have an electoral body coming from EAC from 1979 that have solved many issues, whether it was law or not, and you want to know, just brush it aside and say they have no role, whether it's legislative or not, I think we're treading on dangerous ground, Mr. Chair, and what we might be seeking to do here today is to bring gerrymandering through the back door. Let us, I urge caution, let us contact critical stakeholders such as the ECJ. No, let me finish, please.
Sure. No, I am asking you to yield.
Yes.
Well, you use the word gerrymandering, and let me...
So what we are seeking, be careful in not doing that, that's what I said.
Mr. Member, we are here to look at the procedures. I only allow the comments from the member. We are not getting into that level of discourse that you have gone on. But just to say that you have made some comments which, anyway, continue. Are you true?
So in closing, what I recommend that you, at your ministry level, look at the recommendation from the ECJ as was requested by the Ministry of Local Government and what our opinion is, and if needs be, that meeting that was also requested, that was agreed to have, that comprehensive discussion at that level, that we open that door and have that meeting and get the voice of the ECJ and our view as to how this proposal in this bill would affect polling division boundaries, electoral division boundaries, and effective administration and implementation of elections as we move forward. It's critical that we do that before we just assume that it's Parliament and no other stakeholder has an interest in this.
Thank you, Member Skeffrey. Member Wheatley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You know, just sitting here and listening to the level of political hypocrisy, you know, coming from the opposition, really makes me wonder. In fact, two of the members here, along with myself, more or less participated in the establishment of the Portmore Municipal Council, or the municipality of Portmore. That process, which was rushed through in 2000, for us to have the municipal election in 2003, despite the then warnings and signs coming out that the process was incomplete, we were able to have the municipal elections of 2003. At that point, we acknowledged that the process was not complete, but it was a start, and we made a commitment to the people of Portmore that they would get true independence as it relates to being separated from the rest of St. Catherine. You know, we have been pussyfooting around on this matter for some time now. And I'm sure that the members here, Member Jackson and Member Fagan, two members of Parliament in Portmore, is not saying that it is not time for Portmore to be separated from the rest of St. Catherine and giving it its full independence. What we are seeing now is political maneuvering based on the political status quo, that there may be political implications. I'm not seeing where the members are sticking to the commitment that was given to the people of Portmore, that Portmore would have by now gotten that level of independence that was promised to them. And I do hope that the members, especially those who represent constituencies in Portmore, do not take themselves away from the process and actually be true representatives of the people that they seek to represent, or that they represent now. The arc is clear. And while members Kefri, spoke eloquently on the matter as to the role of ECJ and EOJ, the truth of the matter is that this process must be completed. The minister, as relates to define the boundary, is the one with the authority to do so. The previous Minister of Local Government lost out in the court because he did not follow the correct procedure. And I'm sure, Mr. Chairman, that this Minister of Local Government that we have now will follow the law to the T and ensure that the boundary of Portmore is well defined and that the people of Portmore have their true independence.
Thank you, member.
Chairman, the member made reference to myself and my colleague, member from Portmore. I won't dwell on his use of the word hypocrisy, because I think one's antecedents speaks louder than what we say now. Mr. Chairman, about delivering to Portmore its independence, I only wish to refer the member to what the memorandum of objects and reasons in the bill before us state. So he went on a long journey around the world about independence of Portmore. The memorandum of objects and reasons states clearly what this bill before us is all about. And against that background, Mr. Chairman, I say no more.
Thank you. Thank you, members. I have listened to the various comments. As I said in my opening remarks, that we are here to set the parameters as to how the committee is going to operate. I heard the concerns raised, especially by Member Jackson, about the Vale Royal meeting, but I want to support Member Warmington that the Parliament takes precedence over the Vale Royal discussion, and any decision relating to the outcome of this committee will have to be taken by the Parliament, which was the one who previously took the position. The committee is interested in what is best for the people of Portmore, and will the members please, member, the committee's interest in this matter is how the people of Portmore is represented. I think that should be the first thing in our minds, and not who is in a position of advantage or disadvantage. So, following those comments, we will now set the procedures as to the quorum and what constitute a quorum for the committee.
Mr. Chairman, the Parliament quorum normally 3, and based on a small make of this, I recommend that the quorum is 3.
Okay, so it would be 2 including the chairman. So we have agreed that the quorum for the committee is going to be 3. The other procedural matter that we want to establish is the submission date for the public to advertise and to get wide participation from the wider public, which is critical to whatever decision is taken on the Portmore issue based on the Portmore Act that was passed by that side when they were in government in 2003. I didn't want to really make any passing comments on those issues, but it is critical that we understand what is it we are up against and what needs to be done. And also to set the next date for the meeting of the committee to look at in detail the procedures.
Well, may I say, the member before he left, Member Jackson, said that at the deliberation at Ville Royal, there was some discussion or agreement that the issue be dealt with there. But if I may say that the composition of the membership of this committee was done after the last Ville Royal meeting, long after the last Ville Royal meeting, and they submitted their membership to the committee. So if in fact there was such an agreement at Ville Royal that the issue would have been dealt with at Ville Royal, how comes then you submit the membership of your committee both from Parliament and the Senate, if that was the decision then? All of a sudden we hear about Ville Royal, and you have Ville Royal, and yet you submit your members to constitute the committee. So you know, they're just drawing some red herring across the here. Because there was no Ville Royal, so Ville Royal was long before the composition of the committee. So I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we do the necessary invitation in the daily papers, inviting the public for their comments and participation in the meeting, and we decide on a date when we start and a date when the submission ought to reach the committee.
We're looking at to see if it's possible we could put it out this Sunday the 29th. If that is not possible, we're looking at Sunday the 6th.
It's only done on a Sunday?
Sundays are well, but Sunday is one of the greater. So we will try for this Sunday. Okay?
Usually if it's a month, we give like 2 weeks.
Right.
So
yeah, so we'll give 2 weeks, 2 Sundays notices. We are looking at a month to give the period of a month for submissions to be made. Are the members in agreement?
So it will be to the end of October.
So we are looking, therefore, members, for the next meeting would be in November. Well, we were looking.
Wait until you have substantive submission.
We would probably wait, members, I would suggest, until we get some substantive submissions in. So we would probably be looking at the last Thursday in this month going into the first week in November. First week in November. So we're looking at the first week in November, and that would be another Thursday, I would say, November, the first Thursday in the month of November. Members? Yes. Members, we're looking at the 7th of November to convene the next meeting of the committee. I will ask ministers who have responsibilities, who would be traveling to try to be here for that meeting on the 7th of November, because the committee should have wrapped up these deliberations long ago, so we don't want to prolong it for too long. So we're going to be setting definitely the 7th for the next meeting of the committee.
This is 3 years behind schedule. So there's no reason why we should
Use the mic.
by the end of the year. I'm saying, Chairman, that we are 3 years behind in this because this had been dealt with in 2016, and because of opposition on that side, it's held up. So now that we decide to move forward, we just move with it. What is that problem? For the 7th.
Special interest group you want to invite for the committee to you can mention them so I would have them on record to invite them.
Members, we would like to also consider interest groups to make submissions, so like the Citizens Association in Portmore, community groups, even political parties, if they want to. Right.
Sometimes you write to them specifically, just because sometimes they will miss the submission.
Okay. And I think the churches, right? Right. So, yeah, so we would have a set group that we will be looking at.
You know, Chairman, when we receive indication from these groups, interest group or individuals, we'll have to meet to go through, then invite them. So the first week we go through the submission, and then
when we put out this
Yes.
submission for the general public.
Yes.
But if there are special interest groups that we would want to specifically hear from, we would
invite them
to the
at the same time.
Yes.
As I'm saying,
So we'd invite
so
them.
we could look now. Determine the group we'll invite. Like we said, churches or citizen association, and you have a active. What do you call it? Portmore. What do you call it?
Municipal, more,
Yes.
The group, the civil society group, PCAC.
Yes. So invite them.
Okay.
More than all.
Member Charles?
Are we seeking to invite their written submissions beforehand so that we can have an opportunity to look on it even before they come?
Yes.
Because
yes.
many of the groups I've found in other joint selects really do appreciate being able to put their information to us so that when we meet them in person, we may already have an understanding and have questions.
Okay, I see where you're going. So what we could do, member, is whenever we receive adequate feedback, we could probably convene.
Just send it out to all of the members.
Okay.
And we will have an opportunity to read. We
So,
can
right.
speak on the phone. We'll have to convene.
Right.
And then,
So we could round robin
Yes.
by virtue of using whatever means we
yes.
But Charles, you need to get your email address corrected here.
I have attempted several times to indicate to them there are 2 childs in the parliament and they consistently send to my father regardless. But it's all right. It's preferential treatment and I understand. He sends them to me. Or thankfully Member Warmington will be kind enough to forward the emails to me.
Okay. All right. I think we have set those procedures. Are there any other business? Any other business? Okay, if there be no other business, we have already set the date for November 7th for the next meeting. The next item on the agenda is motion for adjournment.
So move.
Moved by Member Warmington and second by Member Wheatley. Meeting stand adjourned.
beautiful on the inside, everything else falls into place. You're always beautiful on the outside as long as the inside is beautiful.
I really think that beauty is, forming an independent but positive conclusion of who you are as a person.
Like how you have the diamond in the rough and you take it out of the dirt and you brush it off. I need that, boo. So you don't have to be a sparkly thing. And then them say, and everything with glitter is gold or is beautiful. So you don't have to be this shiny thing or this sparkly thing that
Senator Morris to say prayers.
Prayers. Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for this opportunity where we can come together and put our best minds forward to determine